Hi everyone, I'm Gareth Williams and I was the coder on this Ludum Dare 26 Jam entry, OtherSpace. This is a 10-minute time-lapse video of the jam. I'm doing this in one take, so I do apologise if I ramble for a bit, but I'll do my best to provide some kind of commentary on our development process. We worked in a two-man team, myself and Paul Yendley. You can find our Twitter links on the YouTube video if you so wish to follow. So we started off on the Friday night setting up and just having a play about with art and some of the code we were going to use. We played some indie games, watched some StarCraft, generally had a bit of fun. We tried to stay awake until the beginning of the jam, but we didn't quite make it, so we didn't find out what the theme was until day one, Saturday morning. We started off with some code which I declared before the jam. It was just a simple platform engine that used Spine for the main character animation. So I already had the platform engine, the tile engine, and Spine up and running with full source code available on GitHub. I did post a link to that pre-jam. So the Saturday morning was mostly Paul doing a load of art to put a level together with, and whilst he was doing that, I was frantically trying to get the engine working. We had the engine in mind. If you've played the game, you'll see what the engine is all about. Basically, the main character can teleport through layers, through the parallax scrolling layers, so you can actually go to the layers that are further back in the screen and carry on playing the game, which is fairly cool. A fairly cool idea, we thought. I'm using Monogame for the code, C#, Visual Studio 2012, and Monogame, which is the XNA cross-platform XNA implementation. I've been an XNA coder for many years, so Monogame is the next logical step for me, and I'm very comfortable using Monogame and the Monogame tools. Just gone out for a quick snack break there. So as you can see, Paul is putting together some art for the levels. He's using a Wacom tablet to do a painterly sort of style of art, which we think fit not only the theme very well, but the idea for our game, which is kind of a post-apocalyptic sort of setting. He's drawing some clouds there. He doesn't like drawing clouds, and it took him a lot of time to get it right, and it took me a lot of time to get the clouds right in game, which I spent most of Saturday evening and a lot of Sunday morning doing. Here we're joined by a couple of friends, James and Matt, who came along to give us some support. James also worked on a Mac port of the game, which isn't quite finished yet, but hopefully at some point we'll have that up as well. So by this point on Saturday night, we'd actually finally decided what our game was going to be about. We didn't have the water rising mechanic sorted until a few hours before just the point you're seeing now. And then I was frantically putting in the water rising because I knew that this needed to get done before we went to bed tonight, because otherwise we'd be way behind. So as you can see there, Paul's putting together some graphics to cover our new ideas on the game, and then I think Paul went to sleep pretty early that night, and I carried on till about 4 o'clock in the morning trying to get the layering working on the parallax, which was difficult. So here's me working solo well into the early hours of the morning, which caused me not to get up until midday on Sunday morning, which was okay because Paul was out playing Magic. So it gave me a chance to catch up with some code, and desperately needed to get those clouds right because they were bugging me. So I was there trying to get the clouds layered correctly and testing the game. If you can see from the webcam there's another seat to my right, which is the Linux box, and I was using the Linux box to actually test the builds on. as opposed to just testing them on Windows. So that was useful. Here I'm just starting to put in the storyline, so I've got most of the layering right. I'm kind of satisfied with that, and now I can actually start with some gameplay. So I've started the level again from scratch to fit the tutorial, which I came up with the idea with just off the top of my head. I thought, yep, let's have a tutorial where the storyline is kind of displayed at the top of the screen as text. So it gives you something to read, it gives you some backstory in it, and it also provides a tutorial. So Paul's back now, and I said to him, right, we need a font for this story line. So he went and found the fonts, and he did the icons for the tutorial. I carried on putting some story in, and working on the spine animations there. And now Paul started working on the second sort of tile set. So our game was one big level, but as you ascended, I should say, up the level, the tile set changed. So it went from like this industrial sort of setting to a more natural sort of setting, which was fun. So more tiling being done. This is the second and last tile set that needs to be done. So we just aim to get that finished before sleeping on Sunday night. I was still working on storyline, still working on level editing, and working on the water mechanic, balancing the difficulty, all that sort of stuff. Managing our GitHub repository. Paul's having an initial pass at doing some sound effects. And then day 3. So day 3, I knew exactly what I had to do in the morning. It was a case of doing some HUD elements. So there was a water level meter that I needed to get done, and also a counter for the number of souls that had perished whilst the player was ascending the level. That was the whole idea, is that the player, or the character, Gerda, had to get to the top of the level before too many souls had perished, and it's basically the idea is to finish the level with the least amount of her people dying along the way. That was kind of our the way we sort of shoehorned in the theme there, was that the idea was to have a minimal amount of deaths. So I'm getting pretty close to being done here. Paul is done, and he's having a second pass at our main character, and he turned the spine boy template from our original pass, which was Spine Girl, and then he turned her into Gerda, our actual character, and he did a really good job on that because he'd had no prior experience with spine before. So it's actually pretty difficult to get those pieces to work together when you come to animate them. So he did a really good job on this final pass of the character. And I kept on building the level. The level took a long time to design, but it was really fun. I've never had that much fun tiling a level before, simply because of the layering and the way that the parallax layers worked. I'm getting pretty close to the top here now with the master valve, and Paul's just working on the graphics for the final valve that you have to turn right at the top of the level. And I'm finding problems with the clouds, more problems with the clouds, where you get to the top of the level and the clouds were halfway down the middle of the screen. So that was a real difficult thing. The thing that gave me the most hassle was the clouds in the game. But I'm pretty happy at this point. I've got all of the story in, right at the top of the level now, just putting in the last few graphics and doing a bit of code to animate the valves when you turn them and make them drop off so that you can't use them again. And then it's just a case of a bit of final playtesting. Paul's taking care of the playtesting while I'm putting the finishing touches on. I'm putting like a completion screen on. Now I'm looking for sound effects, and I spent probably from the midnight on Saturday, on Sunday rather, Monday, it would have been Monday, midnight Monday, until 3 o'clock in the morning, the deadline, working on sound effects. And here I am, almost done. Last few minutes to go, few changes to the HUD, making an icon, and we're wrapped up. and that was our attempt at a Ludum Dare, our first jam, 72-hour jam, and we were really happy with the results. So I hope you enjoy playing the game, and thanks for listening.